Okay, folks, here's something I really hate, and it's meant to be a Christmas promotion type piece, and I really have no liking for these because, hey, just face it, you get nothing, chances are. And it's not a present, it's boring. Boring, fucking boring. Okay, let's see what this boring piece is. It is an instant scratchy called Christmas Gift. It's like, fuck, how likely are you to win in this? Really? And these are not the kind of cards that you hear about on the news when someone's won a fucking jackpot. You don't hear about these. They're nothing. They're fuck. They're all fuck. But even with the more normal tickets, the average tickets, you still don't win. The more you play, the more you lose, folks. It's extremely rare to crack it. You might as well spend your money on a gift, a proper gift, not this. How likely are you to win? Or that poor person who's received it is likely to win. Anyway, that looks really quite interesting how that's come out. I do think we might have to move it across a bit. But it's like, who cares about this shit? You know, the more you play, the more you fucking lose. It's not, you can't beat the system. Yes, I know there are people who win the jackpot. I know that, folks, but how likely is it to have that, to win it? How likely is it? You're more likely to be bopped over by a bus. You know, it's easier to get run over, you know, but then people do take that risk as well. So all the numbers are against you, folks. The more you play, the more you lose. Yeah, that looks interesting. I think we got most of it in, but we still have to move it across. Yeah, it's really extremely unlikely you're going to win anything substantial, especially. It's just too hard to win. It's meant to be difficult to win. It's meant to be difficult so that the companies that run the corporations, you know, the big companies that they wouldn't be in it if the money wasn't there, because this is not a charity or a benevolent society. It's not going to pay you just because you're poor or you need some food. It'll send you broke. It can actually send you broke. Problem gambling is a big problem, and it happens all too often. And too many people get that feeling of lucky, fucking lucky. Lucky, fuck luck. Luck is fucking nothing. It's proverbially stupid. So, you know, the more you play, the more you lose, folks. Make no mistake. And these lottery tickets, even if you do win, they're not enough to set you up for life. They're not enough. They're not enough to do that. You know, even if you do win, you probably end up spending all your winnings on trying to win again. When, you know, it's really silly. It's stupid. It's really dumb. We're not going to get too precise with this. We were going to get the bottom part. We did lose, we lost a substantial amount off the bottom. I do think we're going to try that again. I'm just going to set ourselves up again. Sorry folks, I have to get the enlargement back in play. I just had to look at it. I looked at it and we lost heaps of it. So we're just going to go, if I remember properly, it was 397 on the horizontal, and I think here it's going to be 374. We're going with that. But yeah, luck is not real. Luck is fake. You're not likely to win. You're more likely to be hit. As I said, hit by a fucking bus. Now we've still got to make it a little bit less there. But yeah, I really hate these games. I really hate this shit, folks. I really do. I really don't understand why people want to play stupid, dumbass money games, which don't, it's emptiness. You become, there is no such, in my books, there is no such thing as what's the word for gambling? Responsible gambling, that's the word, responsible. There is no such thing as responsible gambling in my mind. I believe it's all bad. Gambling's all bad. There is no such thing as there is no such thing as responsible gambling. Yeah, that's still too much down, too tight. Gonna have to make it bigger, smaller should I say, on the vertical. Once again, can't seem to get it right. Nibbling away at it. I'm going to take a big snick off here. But basically I don't believe in gambling. All gambling in my books is irresponsible, and that looks a lot better. We didn't get the red frame around it though. We're not going to make it absolutely perfect. We're going to just use it like that. Going at 100 now. So we're now just going to throw this away. This piece of shit. I found it. I didn't actually buy it. It was found. Found by the side of the road. Obviously someone had a go at it and it was just a piece of losing shit. And it's shit. Yeah, that looks really quite interesting. I do wonder if that's how we're going to have it. That looks really quite an interesting shape. Wondering if we're going to do another one. I'm going to run with this one. I don't know how this is going to look. I'm going to stretch it. But I really don't understand why people insist on playing these stupid dumbass money games. I don't understand them, folks. I really don't. I don't understand the whole mentality behind it. Games of chance, games of luck, whatever. Silly. It really is. It's really dumb. But yeah, that's the thing, folks. The only people who are profiting from this or profiteering are the lotteries, the lottery agents. They're the only ones who are the true winners, and that's it. That's them. That's their. That's how it is. You know, if this was a charity, it would go out of business just like that. There'd be no business. You know, it would be too. It's too much. I'm going to do something. Does look a bit shit. I do think maybe we could move it up a bit. But basically, I have no interest in games of chance or that sort of baloney, you could call it. It is. It's fucking dumb. It's really, really, really dumb. Yeah, baloney is just another American slang word for rubbish. For your information, folks, if you're wondering what I meant by baloney, baloney is just another word for rubbish in that context when you're talking about stuff like this. It's baloney, it's crap, it's fuck. Whatever words you like to use, baloney. I wonder where I got that word from. I must have got it from somewhere on television when I was a kid. I remember hearing that word, but I don't know exactly when I heard it. But it sounded, I'm sure it was on an American show or something. It was a very common word used to describe something that's rubbish in the American slang. I do appreciate American, what's it called? Culture. Even though I'm an Aussie, and I love the Aussie culture as well. Incidentally, I was born on American soil in a country called Guam. And basically, I was born on Guam, in Guam, but both my parents were both Australian citizens. I actually think we might do this better. I do think maybe we'll run with it. But basically, yeah, so I appreciate both countries. Of course, my primary country is Australia, but I do consider the USA my sister country. So Australia is where I call home, and America is a wonderful place I'd like to go to, and I forgot to switch on the mirror image. Fuck. Sorry. Actually, I'm actually thinking maybe we're going to make something good out of that. We're going to make the enlargement a little bit less, I was thinking. So maybe make it 155. But basically, yeah, I've always loved American stuff, and like the photocopier industry had its, before it became corrupted by money fuckers. I used to admire companies like Xerox. Xerox were my favourite company because it's to do with the original photocopiers. Now this has got to go a bit smaller to get that curvature in. But basically I used to love Xerox, and Xerox was, of course, you can't get much more Yankee than that. You can't get much more American than Xerox, but Xerox now is overrun with charlatans and money fuckers and shit. It's not the same as the original Xerox, where the man who invented the process for the photocopier was really, really poor himself, and he really had a bee in his bonnet about how to create a copier system that could solve problems that he was having himself with his arthritis in his fingers. And he was trying to devise a way, and it wasn't just about him, you know, he wanted to basically, I don't know what other motives he had, but he basically saw how difficult it was to reproduce documents with his arthritic hands. You know, this is like carbon paper days, long before the photocopier, but basically he eventually founded Xerox. It wasn't just him on his own, he had help, but it was really hard getting this stuff to market, and basically, yeah. And this is what we ended up with, Xerox, but Xerox is now just another corporation that just cares only about money. And unfortunately, that's the way the world has become, and this is why we have these lotteries, or in this case, a scratch lottery. And they don't care about you or I, they just care about their own fucking interests in this bloody gambling shit that people en masse get hooked into. And it's really not good. It's not nice. So, and let's see how we go with this. Yeah, it looks pretty busy, but it looks interesting. I think now we can call this demo quits.